Hello and welcome back to another show of the Eventual Digressions. And it's been a while. I'm really sorry about that. I took a short break. Lots going on, and not nothing negative. I've been out with some friends over the weekend, and then a lot going on in terms of things to wrap up. I'm still new to YouTube, so I know I have to kind of keep up to it. Also, my club Liverpool won the Premier League, so there was some crazy celebrations. And um, this is the first time that we as a club could celebrate with the team. Actually, the day Liverpool celebrated, at Anfield after winning against Tottenham in that way, it was quite scintillating, and we in India also celebrated quite a bit. And given that it's the first time, a second time actually, but first time that the Liverpool fans and the city could celebrate with the players, we all celebrated with a little bit of authenticity. We I didn't want to bring in cameras to it and kind of dilute it. That's how I feel as a fan. So rest assured, there will be a video on that. Um, how it felt, Liverpool winning the league, you know, and what's to follow, the celebrations, the emotions, and everything. So yeah, but in today's show, I'm going to talk about some transfer news concerning Liverpool. That is Jeremie Frimpong, who's the right back of Bayern Leverkusen, has been linked to Liverpool strongly, and also a bit of news about Rodrigo not wanting to be in Real Madrid, wanting to leave Real Madrid, and also touch base on how the team might look from a Liverpool perspective next season, what we need, whether there's some things to worry, what the other teams are doing slightly from a Liverpool's perspective to keep the standard up. Yeah. So before I get into it, please like and subscribe. Spread the love. Um, Share the video if you like it. And having said that, let's get into it. So Jeremy Frimpong, who is the right back of Leverkusen, he's a Manchester City academy product, and he is one of the best attacking right wing backs or right backs in the world, for sure. I think off the top of my head, maybe Hakimi is really good. Although he plays for PSG in a different system, I don't think anyone is that good in terms of an attacking sense. And also, Jeremy Frimpong looks like a very busy player, like similar to, I would say, Soboslai in Liverpool, full of energy, always going up and down, a little bit reminiscent of Andy Robertson on the other side in his prime days, because he seems to cover a lot of ground. And this time, Fabrizio Romano has broken the news. Mark Ogden has broken the news. So these are all very elite and trusted sources who are saying that Liverpool is very close to the deal. And Jeremy Frimpong, as a player, also has made it very clear that he wants to move to Liverpool. Apparently, he also has a flat in Manchester, which is quite close to Liverpool, right? So geographically, it makes sense for him also, as well as he's Dutch, and Arne Slot is Dutch. We have Virgil van Dijk, Cody Hakpo, and then obviously Ryan Gravenberch. So we have a lot of Dutch people in the club, to help him through. Not that I don't think he needs that a lot, because he seems really well spoken in the interviews that I've seen. He seems really insightful. He seems to be bringing right kind of energy, with him, that I've seen of him in the interviews. And also, he seems really smart as a player, understanding and reading the room. And I feel he might be the perfect fit for Liverpool at right back. Although controversially, we do have Connor Bradley in the wings, who in the remaining games that Liverpool have in the league seems to be the starting right back, and rightly so, since Trent Alexander-Arnold is leaving for Real Madrid. But do we need him? That's the first question I'll ask, right? And I think Liverpool, I'm still yet to. I feel that there's still a couple of levels to Arne Slot strategy once gets all his players in, because I still feel that there is something missing. Although the team won the league, but having said that, I think still feel there's something missing in the chemistry. Something to glue it all together, something to get in a more cohesiveness. I feel the amount of control that Arne Slot's gameplay has on Liverpool as a team is spectacular. He focuses a lot on control, you know, pressing in triangles, and kind of uh, it's a little bit more controlled than Klopp's style. Defensively, he wants to be solid, but I think in every game it feels like 10% or 10 minutes or 7 minutes or 8 minutes of the game, in every game, Liverpool loses control. And in it can be individual mistakes, it can be a careless flick, losing possession, not getting to second balls, but it does happen, and that seems to irritate Arne Slot a lot. And after that, we sometimes concede a goal. We sometimes miss good counter attacking chances, in terms of weaving together an attack. So there's something missing sometimes, I feel, in Liverpool games. There are quite a few examples. I won't take any examples after the Tottenham Spurs game, because the league is done. We don't know if the team is at the beach. It doesn't seem so, but I would say in previous games, like the second leg against PSG, right, was a little bit that something was missing, or in certain games, like the game against Nottingham Forest at the beginning of the season. I don't want to pick out games where we lost, even in games where we won, right? Like the draw that we got at the Emirates, which is a good result. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like we just completely gave away control of the midfield for most of the game. So I think Slot will bring in some of his players. The rumor is that we will be getting around 5 to 6 players, which is great because Jeremie Frimpong fits right in. And in my point of view, in my humble opinion, I think um, Connor Bradley is a great player, but he's still a project, right? And he seems to be the kind of a player who seems a little adaptable, right? I feel like he can sometimes slot in center back. Also, he can be very useful in bigger games, European games, or even bigger games, bigger away games where we need to be a little bit more defensive, or in games where we as a team are dealing with a very tricky winger, right? Defensively speaking, he's really solid. Even going forward, he is a very traditional attacking right back where he does one twos, does overlaps, great overlaps, sometimes takes in shots, have got decent dribbling ability. Crossing is not a big part of his game so far that I see, but he's still not a bad crosser. uh, I feel he's got it all, but there's something sometimes having we as Liverpool fans have been so used to Trent Alexander-Arnold and his brilliance going forward, stitching together passes and splitting defenses and changing flanks and stuff like that. So that is something which we will miss creatively. The team is losing a lot with Trent going, but we cannot get a replacement for Trent, like direct replacement, because he's such a unique player. We have to compensate that somehow in different positions, and I feel we do need a creative midfielder, and we do need a right back with some more flair. And having said that, I think Jeremie Frimpong is a good match. He's one of the best attacking right backs. He's full of energy, so I think he's really good at doing up and down. Now that Salah will not be tracking back as often as he would have in the past, because he's getting up in age and he will be using his energy more efficiently. So I think in that way is a perfect fit. As I mentioned earlier, mentality wise, it's very difficult to get someone better than Jeremie Frimpong, in my opinion. I think he's tried and tested. Xavi Alonso, I really trust his judgment. He's going to Real Madrid, but I feel the group of players that he nurtured in Bayern Leverkusen, and winning that league and having that invincible season in the league, I think, or having such a big winning streak last season, and you know in I think his players mean something. The mentality is there, the winning mentality is there, and Jeremy Frimpong was a big part of that. And although they couldn't win the league this time, but I think we are getting a very good player. And if I go by his stats, like he just in the Bundesliga, I think he has 5 goals and 5 assists this season in 33 games, which is not bad considering Bayern Leverkusen haven't been that clinical like before. Maybe he would have had a bit more assists. And then in the winning season for Leverkusen, he had like 9 goals and 7 assists, 9 goals from the right back position, just in the league, by the way, not in all competitions. It's quite impressive. And I feel that Liverpool can afford to have both Frimpong and Connor Bradley in tandem. And although Frimpong will be getting most of the minutes, I feel, but Bradley can play a very important role, and he's still very young. And I think, he's here to stay. On top of that, the main thing is that he has a release clause of 35 million euros, which is roughly 30 million pounds, which is in today's day and age for such a player an absolute steal, right? An absolute steal. I think Liverpool right now is a very attractive proposition. Liverpool is a very attractive club to play for. So I feel in that sense, Jeremy Frimpong, it works out perfectly in all. If you are getting a player like him for 30 million pounds, nothing like it. It will be kind of a steal. It will be kind of a buy like we had with McAllister from Brighton. So that's why I feel that all in all, it's a really good deal. And imagine Frimpong on one side, and if we can get Kirkis on the other side, we will be literally having Liverpool 2.0 now with a revamped midfield and fullbacks. Robertson will be there, I think, but I think he's on his last legs, or he can have a supporting role for years to come. But I don't think he is at the level of starting each and every game and being at that level. And so Kirkis and Frimpong will be great. And I do believe we need a centre back. There's still the case of you know the centre back, because um, I think Joe Gomez, has been injured again this season for quite a bit. I don't. I think he might be moved on. Hoyson, who has been in the transfer news for a long time, seems like he's more likely to go to Real Madrid. But we need a centre back, or we need a centre back who can play both, left back or right back and centre back, because um, it is going to be tricky if one of Virgil van Dijk or Konate gets injured. And Konate is also not signing a deal so far. Hopefully that gets done. I really trust in Richard Hughes. I trust in the Liverpool senior management to get it done. And apart from that, so that's 3 positions. Apart from that, I think we need a winger and a striker. So definitely Darwin Núñez, I think, will be moved on. I feel Jota will be staying still, and I think he can bounce back next season. But Darwin Núñez will be moved on, I'm pretty sure, and maybe Chiesa. And Rodrigo is a very interesting proposition, right? I feel he's one of the most clutch players I've seen, Rodrigo, right? If you remember scenes against PSG for Real Madrid in Champions League, and the kind of player he is, that Brazilian, uh, you know, flair, and cold blood running through his veins. He's ice cool, and I feel he's a spectacular proposition. And he's one of those players who can play in all 3 positions, I think, across the front 3. And can be a spectacular understudy or supplement to Mo Salah. And also we shouldn't forget that we have the African Cup of Nations, next season. So Salah will be gone for a while. So I do think that Chiesa, who clearly Slot doesn't prefer, will be moved on, and I think one of Darwin Núñez or Jota will be moved on. I feel it's going to be Darwin Núñez, and if we can get Rodrigo, it is nothing like it. Imagine a window with Rodrigo, Kirk, um, Frimpong. I don't want to jinx it, but I think we are going to have one of the best transfer windows um, that we have had in a while. And trust me, it's not a very high ceiling because we do not get a lot of players at one go. And then for the striking position, my dream signing is obviously Isak, but I don't think Liverpool is going to break the bank and Newcastle will make it easy. Liverpool is not going to spend 150 million pounds on any player, but I think Julian Alvarez, if we can get Julian Alvarez from Atletico, who is actually have some financial obligations to get a player off on high wages from their team. And if we can get him, maybe in a dream scenario, like an exchange propositions plus some money for Darwin Núñez. But if not, anyway, if we can get Julian Alvarez as an attacking option, nothing like it. Nothing like it. Zubimendi has gone to Arsenal, and I feel he would have been the perfect fit in the puzzle, for Liverpool midfield. But we need a midfielder, and I think we are still on the lookout. Whether we'll get an out and out DM or we will get someone who can play both the number 8, number 6 will be interesting to see. But I think these are the 5 positions we do need to strengthen, and we have some outgoings as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer. A lot of people, including Mark Goldbridge and who I respect, his content I really like, has touted that Arsenal will be up for it next season. We'll see. Apparently they have 100 million kitty, which is not a lot in today's financial climate, but still, I don't think they need a lot of players anyway. um, I do feel that they need someone to back up on the wing positions. Ideally, someone who can play across all 3 positions, or at least both left wing and right wing, to cover Martinelli and Saka. And they definitely need a striker. And Gawker seems to be the one. They seem to be really close to that deal, and I think, um, yeah, he seems to be a very interesting player. He's 27, I believe. He scored around 53 goals, or goal involvements. I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers. Let's check it. Uh, Gawker's stats. Yeah, so he has like 38 goals and 7 assists, which is 45 goal involvements in the Portuguese league, and he has 6 goals and 1 assist in the Champions League. So, um, wow, so that's 52, and then again in other places he has so almost 56 goal involvements in the whole season. So that is quite interesting because it's a different country, but I feel Gawker is kind of mature player. You're not doing any experiment. He's 26 years old. He'll be 27 next season. He's not a Sesko. Uh, he's a ready-made player. He seems very physical, very strong, very act for the Premier League. So in that sense, I think if Gokres joins Arsenal, they can get a winger, and then um, you know, they're already getting Zubimendi. I think it's going to be a very interesting proposition, and definitely Liverpool needs to step up to stay in the conversation for winning the league again next season. And not to mention that Manchester City will be coming back stronger. Rodri is going to be back. Might be Pep's last season or penultimate season, right? Um, Maybe Chelsea might come back. Newcastle seems to be going from strength to strength. So yeah, it's going to be a tough season if we cannot get our transfer window right. But happily, we have managed to keep Virgil van Dijk. We have managed to keep Mo Salah, and we are getting positive news in terms of Jeremie Frimpong. We just need Konate to get the contract signed. We have even received positive news that Diaz is willing to stay in Liverpool and in the long term. I was under the impression that he would want to go to Barcelona, but eventually, at least. But he seems to be really set in Liverpool, especially I think winning this league and the feeling that you get when you sing that song of "You'll Never Walk Alone" might have changed his mind, and it's very difficult to get to a place like this, a historic place, a historic club. Yeah, all good on the transfer front. Let's see if we can get a here we go, sooner than later. Liverpool always keeps things under the wraps, so it's very difficult to know unless before it happens. So yeah, that was my 2 cents on the transfer window, especially on Frimpong, and hope to see you soon. Have a good one. Please like and subscribe, and please spread the love.